Some of the most amazing discoveries in human history have come from the two Voyager spacecrafts. Despite the fact that they were launched over 40 years ago, they are still collecting data while flying through space at 38,000 miles per hour. The spacecraft has explored the planets Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. They've sent back detailed and breathtaking images of the unusual places they've visited at each of these stops. They found ice moons, deep volcanoes, and even water millions of kilometers away. So what was the most recent incredible discovery made by this historic space mission? In this video, we'll take a look at everything you need to know about this terrifying new discovery that defies all logic in space. The Voyager spacecrafts have discovered something strange and terrifying. What if we aren't alone in the universe? What will be the next stop for the Voyager spacecrafts? The interstellar voyage of the Voyager spacecraft has shed light on previously unanswered questions about the universe beyond our solar system. However, the discoveries made by the Voyager probes in the farthest reaches of space may have raised more questions than answers. The Voyager missions have been an important part of space exploration for nearly 45 years, providing some of the very first and most significant glimpses into the true state of our solar system. But they were never intended to last this long when the first plans for the probe were developed. In the 1970s, Michael Minovich came up with the idea of sending out probes after realizing that the spacecraft could piggyback on the velocity of a planet and launch further out into the solar system. NASA, the American Space Agency, is commemorating the completion of its longest mission in history. Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 are involved in the mission. They debuted in 1977. According to NASA officials, the Voyager mission was expected to last 5 years when it was first launched. However, both Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 are still on the move, gathering valuable scientific data from the farthest reaches of space. In the summer of 1977, the two spacecraft launched within weeks of each other. The month of September marked the 45th anniversary of Voyager 1's launch on September 5th that year. Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 were created to investigate Jupiter and Saturn. Both spacecraft successfully investigated those planets. Later, in 1986, Voyager 2 completed the first ever close observations of Uranus and Neptune. The flybys of the four planets became known as the Grand Tour of Voyager. After that, the two spacecraft embarked on a new mission to explore distant areas of space. NASA announced in 2013 that Voyager 1 had crossed the boundary separating our solar system from interstellar space. The term interstellar means between stars, and scientists believe it begins where the sun's continuous flow of particles and magnetic field ceases. According to NASA, Voyager 2 first entered interstellar space in 2018. At the time, the spacecraft was 17.7 billion kilometers from the sun. So far, the Voyagers are the only spacecraft that have explored interstellar space. The two explorers investigated how the interstellar medium interacts with solar wind, the sun's continuous flow of charged particles. They have also provided information about the heliosphere, which is a protective bubble that surrounds our solar system. The solar wind creates the heliosphere, which is shaped and changed by interstellar conditions. The heliopause is the actual boundary of the solar system, where solar wind ends and interstellar space begins. According to NASA, the Voyager spacecraft has provided new information about interstellar space. They discovered, for example, that cosmic rays are approximately 3 times more intense outside the heliopause than deep within the heliosphere. NASA stated that scientists combined Voyager observations with data from newer missions to obtain a more complete picture of our Sun and how the heliosphere interacts with interstellar space. Scientists reported last year that Voyager 1 had recorded a humming noise that was linked to waves discovered in small amounts of gas found in the near emptiness of interstellar space. Nicola Fox, director of the Heliophysics Division at NASA headquarters in Washington, D.C., stated in a statement that the Voyager's work has provided valuable information about the Sun and the Sun's influence throughout the solar system. Over the last 45 years, the Voyager missions have been critical in providing this knowledge and have changed our understanding of the Sun and its influence in ways that no other spacecraft can, Fox added. Each Voyager is powered by a plutonium-based thermoelectric power system. As the plutonium degrades, the heat output decreases and the Voyagers lose power. To compensate, NASA stated that the team turned off all non-essential and some once considered necessary systems. Heaters protect the still operational instruments from the extreme cold of space. However, the Space Agency reports that all 5 instruments that have had their heaters turned off since 2019 are still operational. NASA scientists are still puzzled as to how the Voyagers can continue to operate in temperatures far below what they were designed for. Decades after Voyager 1 and its twin Voyager 2 separated to explore the universe, the probe has lasted far longer than NASA ever expected, sending back discoveries of active volcanoes and new moons in the Jovian and Saturnian systems. Even for a spacecraft, however, aging presents its own set of challenges. The probe experienced a glitch in its altitude articulation and control system, which keeps its antennae pointed towards Earth. This year, despite its previously spotless record, the muddled probe, unsure of its position in space, began sending back inaccurate telemetry data via an onboard computer that had stopped working years before, corrupting the correct data. Although NASA engineers were recently able to resolve the issue by instructing the system to revert to its previous computer, Voyager's mishap begs the question: is it time to retire one of the agency's oldest and most distantly traveling space probes? Although the agency notes that the error poses no threat to the mission's long-term health, some scientists have already begun working on Voyager's heir apparent. "We've gotten incredibly lucky with the Voyagers," says Ralph McNutt, chief scientist for space science at the Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory, so it's not surprising if things go wrong. McNutt, who was present at the launch of the Voyager 1 in 1977 at Cape Canaveral, Florida, is the principal investigator of a team at the Applied Physics Laboratory that has recently submitted a detailed proposal to NASA for a mission concept that could far exceed Voyager's limits. The aircraft, dubbed the Interstellar Probe, would be able to travel even further than the Voyager missions while still investigating the heliosphere, or the bubble-like region of space that protects our solar system from galactic radiation. McNutt's probe concept, with the right technology, could be ready to launch between 2036 and 2042, depending on when it can get a gravity assist from Jupiter, where the craft's orbit would use Jupiter's gravitational pull to slingshot itself into space's outer reaches. If the Interstellar Probe mission is successful, it could break the record for the most distant human-made object in the universe, set by its predecessor, and, unlike the 45-year-old Voyager, which has outlived its original mission lifetime by a factor of 10, Interstellar Probe would be reliable enough to last at least 50 years, according to McNutt. However, a possible launch would be several years away. Although NASA funded the initial study, the concept is still in its early stages and will not be turned into an official mission until it is reviewed and selected by a decadal survey committee, the decisions of which could take another 2 years to finalize. But why do we need probes when astronomers can now use powerful telescopes like the James Webb Space Telescope and the long-awaited Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope to hunt for dark matter? The simple answer is that the missions frequently have contrasting priorities and capabilities. Heliophysics missions, such as Voyager and the Parker Solar Probe, study the sun's influence in space, whereas astrophysics missions, such as JWST and Roman, study objects such as exoplanets and distant galaxies. Despite their differences, probes and larger survey telescopes, such as the JWST, are two sides of the same coin. Both of their discoveries are required to create a more accurate and comprehensive picture of our cosmic surroundings. While Voyager isn't going anywhere anytime soon, some experts are grateful that many in the scientific community are preparing for the day when Voyager goes dark. Around 2030 is probably the last time any of the Voyager instruments will work, says Merav Ofer, an astronomy professor at Boston University who has long been involved with the Voyager team. She finds it encouraging that so many of her colleagues are working on the next generation projects that will eventually make full use of Voyager's knowledge. This long-term mission requires diversity, she explains. Attention to diversity in teams is not only good for diversity, but also for making discoveries. And with that being said, it's time to end our video. Subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos like this. We'll see you with another interesting video.